On the Newshour Debate this evening, Rita Bahuguna Joshi of the Congress Party is taking on Dr. Chandan Mitra of the BJP. Taking on Chandan Mitra is Manoj of the RJD. Hartosh Singh Bal, senior journalist, is being joined by ex-BJP leader, now author and columnist in an independent capacity tonight, Sudhindra Kulkarni. Lord Meghnad Desai is joining us in some time. So what we've deliberately done is we've kept 3 independent voices and 3 political voices, so that we get a fair spread of opinion on the Newshour Debate tonight. My first question, and we'll have open debate right from the start, which means, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to interrupt each other if you feel you have a point to come in on. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, isn't it absolutely ironical that here is an opportunity for a Prime Minister after almost 10 years in government, 4.5 of which have been totally disastrous, to at least go down in history with us in a statesman-like manner. But the Prime Minister goes out in a petty manner, scoring political points over Narendra Modi. Was the Prime Minister trying to deflect from his own disastrous record by talking about Narendra Modi? Did he want Narendra Modi to be the headline or Manmohan Singh retiring to be the headline?
Well, I feel that the Prime Minister was very candid and honest in his statements today. The first part was his own statement which he made, and then he took a volley of questions from the press, from the media. And when a question is asked of him, certainly he is a politician as well. He's an economist, he's a Prime Minister, he's a leader of the Congress Party. If a direct question is posed to him, he has all right to comment the way he did. And he was very honest in placing his mind to the people of the country. So I think it was a wonderful press conference in which the Prime Minister spoke very honestly, candidly, and very clearly.
No, but why was the Prime Minister, why was the Prime Minister, you didn't answer my question. Here is the Prime Minister, whatever, I mean, unless, are you saying that the Congress Party tutored the Prime Minister to say that about Modi? Because, you know, the BJP's Prime Ministerial candidate is a thrice-elected Chief Minister. You didn't tutor him to say that?
How does that matter? Who will tutor?
No, I'm asking you. Of course it matters, Ms. Joshi. Whether the Prime Minister is saying that independently, or whether the Congress Party 4 months before an election is tutoring the Prime Minister to take on the Narendra Modi.
What was the tutoring about? Is 2002 not known to the nation? Do we not know that they play the communal card? Do we not know that after Muzaffarnagar, 2 MLAs whose hands were red with invoking and promoting violence in Muzaffarnagar were awarded on the dais of Bharatiya Janata Party in Agra? Do we not know that the Mandir issue always comes up? Do we not know that he tries to run down the minority? You have to believe and you have to trust that they do not believe in inclusive politics. And this is the view of the Congress Party. And the Prime Minister is a leader of our Congress Party. Certainly, he has said what the Congress Party...
But is the Prime Minister in any position to say so? Is the Prime Minister in any position to say so? Numerically, every year since 2005, from 2,066 people who have been injured and 124 who have been killed in communal riots, the number of people affected by communal riots keeps going up from 2005 to 2012. If I take even that index, look at his own disastrous record. But in any case, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, let's get a response from Chandan Mitra on the justification you put on the Prime Minister raising Narendra Modi as the headline-grabbing comment in his farewell press conference. Chandan Mitra, your response.
Arnab, you have already deflated the whole litany of untruths that Ms. Bahuguna Joshi has just mouthed. And I think there was a great deal of impropriety in the Prime Minister sitting in a government office, holding the topmost government executive position, to use this press conference to launch a political diatribe. It is simply not done. No BJP Prime Minister, we have only one, or even Chief Ministers, have done this from an official platform. This just shows the desperation of the Congress Party and Mr. Manmohan Singh. He knows nobody comes to hear him at the public rallies, which the Congress Party is, a token rally at least, they are forced to hold. So I thought the Prime Minister must have decided that this is the only way to get some national attention to his political remarks. But it is truly unfortunate that he has said so. As you have rightly pointed out, a three-time elected Chief Minister being rubbished by a two-time selected Prime Minister, I think there is something that is seriously wrong. And a farewell speech, which should have been in a spirit of goodwill and a proper kind of bye-bye to the nation, I think that would have been truly appropriate.
No, Ms. Joshi, I know.
With all my...
No, Ms. Joshi.
With all my regards to you, the Prime Minister spoke about the economy of the country, spoke about the foreign policy of the country.
No. Let me tell you what the Prime Minister said.
Achievements of the government.
Let me tell you.
He was replying to the question.
Let me just tell you.
I was also
Ms. Joshi,
press conference.
Ms. Joshi, with Arnab's permission, I just want to read out one line of his speech or his comment. I do not wish, said the Prime Minister, to elaborate on our achievements in the economic arena. Now, obviously, there are no achievements. There are disachievements, if any. Rate of growth has plummeted. Our economy is in the doldrums. And the Prime Minister makes a honest confession that he does not want to dwell on the economy because he can't.
If RTI is not an achievement, if Lokayukt is not, if Lokpal is not an achievement, if Manrega is not an achievement, is wavering of the debt.
I was talking about the economy, madam. I am talking about the economy.
You please tell me,
what
do you mean by achievements? You know that
no, Ms. Joshi, don't look upset about it. There is a growing perception. There is a growing perception now building since the Prime Minister's press conference. If you allow me.
Distributing freebies.
If you allow me, Ms.
Distributing freebies is not economic policy.
If you allow me.
Distributing freebies.
Come on, Ms. Joshi. Ms. Joshi, be realistic about it. Be realistic about it. No, be realistic about it. What has the Prime Minister done by talking about, by putting a singular focus on Modi?
Yes.
The Prime Minister has ensured that instead of the headline being Prime Minister retires, the headline is Prime Minister attacks Modi. If the Prime Minister had no spectacular gains of UPA 2, he could have been cornered on issues of corruption. He could have been cornered on issues of accountability. I'm coming into all that. No, Ms. Joshi.
15 minutes he made his statement. He did not take the name of any opposition party or any opposition leader. But when the media asked him direct questions,
so you don't...
certainly he has to answer. They asked about Rahul Gandhi.
So who was he talking about?
No, Ms. Joshi, be clear. Be clear. Be clear about...
They asked him about Pakistan, he made a statement. They asked him about America, he made a statement.
What?
Ms. Joshi, out of his own
Ms. Joshi, Ms. Joshi, it is the way in which the comment is made. It is the manner in which the comment is made. I get in others into the debate. Chandan, Mitra, should we open this up? Let's open it up, I say. Let's open it up.
Yeah.
Hartosh wants to come, Manoj wants to come, Meghnad Desai, good evening and welcome. And Sudhindra Kulkarni wants to come. And not with any intention to provoke, but only with a clear intention to ask that question. When you accuse Mr. Modi, what do you accuse him of? Manoj, you accuse him of presiding over the mass massacre of innocent citizens. Now, the Prime Minister is glossing over the fact that no court of law, no investigating authority, has found anything or said anything adverse against Modi. So he can be accused of false propaganda and being tutored by the Congress to say so.
Yeah.
No, Ms. Joshi, the courts have found nothing.
He is a Congress leader. No, Mr. Goswami, he's a Congress leader, he's a Prime Minister. Why does he require
Okay, fine, he's not been tutored, Ms. Joshi. No, Ms. Joshi, okay, he's not been tutored. Even if I accept he's not been tutored, show me one thing which a court of law and investigating agency has found against Narendra Modi.
Program in Gujarat. He spoke in the same tenor about a month back when he was in the program in Gujarat.
Sorry, Ms. Joshi.
He has not changed his
The Prime Minister is lying.
I get Manoj
in what he says about
Arnab, can I come in here?
And we don't
Chandan, Mitra, Manoj turn. Manoj.
Arnab, just a few quick points, because I should look at this entire press conference in totality. And I have the freedom to be an insider as well as outsider for PM and Congress Party and UPA. You know something? You have been a greatest advocate of perception. You have been telling me about perception a lot. There are 56 cases more at different layers in the Gujarat, in different courts of Gujarat. So let's not forget that it was simply an ordinary magistrate's court, and the victims have the prerogative. Witnesses have the prerogative. Survivors have the prerogative to move ahead. So let's close it here. The perception is Mr. Modi actually, if you look at his statements, forget anything, all his statements since then, they somehow indicate that if not active, he was part of the team which was aware of what is going on and how it is going on. That's number one.
One second. I agree with you. I agree with you, Manoj. I have been talking about perception. But I have been talking about cases of perception where there have been concrete facts. You want to know about cases of perception, Manoj Jha? Veerbhadra Singh's corruption is a case in which there are hard facts against him. A case which the Prime Minister says he does not even know about. You know, Manoj, that Gulbarga was the only case that Modi was facing scrutiny for. And he was given a clean sheet by the SIT, which was accepted by the trial court. He has not been held in scrutiny in any other case. Lord Meghnad Desai also wants to come in. Lord Desai. Lord Desai.
No, Gujarat.
Lord Desai. Quick rebutts. I'm going to come back to you. Lord Desai.
6 months in Gujarat. And I know what he did.
Mr. Narasimha Rao was Home Minister in 1984. He presided over the massacre of 3006. Okay? And Narasimha Rao became a very successful Prime Minister of India. You know, it's very convenient to forget the Sikhs. Yeah. Very convenient to forget the Sikhs. 3,000 died in 3 days, right? And not a single person has been indicted for that. And the Sikhs are still demanding justice. And somebody asked a question to the Prime Minister directly about this. You know, bad as the Gujarat riots were, bad as the Gujarat riots were, bad as Gujarat riots were, let us not forget that in Delhi, 3,006 died in 3 days. Not a single policeman intervened in this, and Congress Home Minister of the centre is in charge of Delhi police.
Correct your facts.
Okay,
I take that. A challenge thrown. A challenge thrown, Manoj Jha. No, Manoj Jha.
Virtuous about
Manoj Jha.
Let's not be virtuous.
Manoj Jha, Rita, Bahuguna, Joshi and you have both been cornered.
There have been many more. Hang on, there have been many more communal rights, Muslim type communal rights under Congress rule. 11,000 communal rights took place in India since Nehru's death. And most of them were under Congress rule. So let us not mess around. Let us not mess around. Let us not mess about. Nobody has a monopoly. Nobody has a monopoly of a clean conscience. Nobody has a monopoly of a clean conscience.
Mr. Modi has not even...
What do you mean? No, 1 second. Rita Joshi. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, 1 second. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, logic by logic. No, 1 second. Rita Bahuguna Joshi. Sudhindra, Kulkarni, Hartosh Singh Bal are not yet into the debate. I say logic by logic, fact by fact. I'm not saying riot versus riot. But if we are to apply logic versus logic, Manmohan Singh brings up 2002. He's also asked a question on 1984 anti-Sikh killings, over which, as Meghnad Desai rightly says, justice has not been done for 29 years. He admits that he has apologized for the riots, but when did he apologize, Sudhindra Kulkarni? I think he apologized in 2005. He apologized in 2005, but the wheels of justice in Gujarat over 2002, the wheels of justice in Gujarat over 2002 have moved faster than they have in the case of 1984. Am I right or wrong? Hartosh, let me get you in. And then Sudhindra Kulkarni.
It is true. It is true.
Arnab, look, let us make some important distinctions.
victims of those riots.
That
And
both
the
Narendra
Prime
Modi
Minister
and Rajiv
has
Gandhi
apologized
presided
to the
over
nation,
the mass massacre of citizens in the
Mr. Modi
state and
done this.
central capital.
We want to
But
ask you.
The fact is, under the
One
law,
second,
this is not
one
a crime,
second,
but that
wait.
does not make
Hartosh.
Dr. Manmohan Singh versus Modi's
Yeah.
statement.
May I
want to
speak,
ask
Ms.
you.
Joshi?
Dr.
You've
No, no,
had
one
your
second,
say for
one
a
second,
long
one-
time.
He said, I stood and
Ms.
apologized.
Joshi, 1 minute.
Has
Ms.
Mr.
Joshi,
Modi
1 minute.
apologized?
Ms. Joshi,
Neither
just
in
a
the
minute.
House nor outside.
See, I'll
And
say
then
one
you
thing
think
here.
that
Ms.
he's
Joshi,
cornered.
Ms.
What did
Joshi,
the
just
Prime
if you
Minister
come in
say?
1 minute.
Prime Minister only put the truth.
Ms. Joshi,
Prime Minister spoke the truth.
Ms. Joshi, the question is
I'm
not,
speaking
you know,
right
whether
as
the
well.
Prime Minister spoke the truth or not. The question really is what headline did the Prime Minister want to grab? Now it is an accepted fact and Chandan Mitra won't like it. But it is an accepted fact, Chandan Mitra, that 2002, even after the Prime Minister's blog, Narendra Modi's blog, will continue to be a chink in his armor. You must also accept it. And unless there is complete remorse expressed, people will see it as a chink in his armor. That's not something that you can wish away, Chandan Mitra. And let's be realistic about it. Yes, Hartosh, please complete your point.
Look, sorry, Arnab,
Yeah,
I'm
Arnab, the
sorry
point
to
is
say
very simple.
that we have, this
Both
has been
Narendra
debated
Modi
again and
and
again.
Rajiv Gandhi
Hartosh.
presided over the mass massacre of citizens in the very city they were sitting in. Unfortunately, under the Indian legal system, this is not a direct crime. It should be. Narasimha Rao should never have become Prime Minister. Just because there was a wrong precedent set doesn't make it right that Narendra Modi should become Prime Minister. That said, the problem is not with the Prime Minister's message, unlike what Chandan Mitra is saying. The problem is with the messenger. Manmohan Singh himself has no grounds on which to stand and make these statements. If you look at his entire statement today, what does that statement end with? That unfortunately we have not been able to provide jobs, unfortunately we have not been able to control prices, unfortunately the perception of corruption is not being able to be challenged by this government. What does that leave him with? It leaves him with nothing.
I'm
It
sorry.
leaves him with this
No, I'm sorry.
fallback
No, I'm
attack on
sorry.
Modi.
True.
This
This is not
message
what
is
he
being
had said.
diluted by the
This is not
messenger.
what
The
he had
problem is
said.
not the message, the problem is the messenger.
He had said, we have not been able to achieve our
If you
targets.
go back, Ms.
Please
Joshi,
don't
you
try
will
to
see
twist
that
his
he
statement.
said that prices
He never
we have not
said-
been able to
he never
control,
said we have not,
jobs
yes,
we have not been able to.
I sat through the entire. He said, we have not been able to achieve
So
our
did the
targets.
rest of us, Ms. Joshi.
He was honest. You wanted him to speak the untruth, and then he also said that there was a lot of economic slowdown. International and national forces, the economic slowdown had hampered the growth. And that is why we have not been able to achieve these targets. See, don't try to twist his statements. He made a very candid and factual and realistic
We are not
statements.
twisting the statements, Ms. Joshi. If you go back and look clearly,
No, Miss
he has not been able
Joshi.
to provide jobs.
Miss Joshi, Miss Joshi.
I also
Miss
understand
Joshi,
his English.
tonight you
I've
know what
heard
is
his
on test.
statement.
Miss
The
Joshi,
nation
may I
has
come in?
heard. The
May I
nation
come in,
has
Miss
heard.
Joshi? Can I just say one thing?
Arnab,
Miss Joshi, listen, please, if you just pay attention to the argument that is being put on the other side, Miss Joshi. Now, there's nobody's putting an argument saying 2002, should be put into the dustbins of history. Nobody can say that. Nobody can ever make a comment like that. In fact, there are a lot of people who believe that it is up to Narendra Modi between now and the elections to come forward with a more complete sense of statement which expresses remorse and regret for what his government did or what his government's role was at that point of time. You will continue to push for that. The question really is about the sincerity of Manmohan Singh. The sincerity of Manmohan Singh when he says that I'm going to say that Narendra Modi is, what was his phrase here? He says Narendra Modi is a person who has, who has presided over a mass murder. Right, so...
You read
one
the question,
minute.
Mr. Goswami, first.
One
you
minute.
Read the question posed to him.
1 minute. No, I have
would
seen
like
the
you to read the
statement. I
question
have seen
also
the
posed to him.
statement. He says...
No, you first read the question.
Ma'am, please allow me.
You read the question. The question was that
there are times, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, if you want to say something, you don't need to be asked a question.
Weakness.
The question everyone in India will ask tonight?
The question was...
the question everyone in India will ask tonight?
That there's a perception...
No, the question everyone in India will ask tonight, Ms. Joshi, is this. That where was Dr. Manmohan Singh's... Why did Dr. Manmohan Singh not take on the Narendra Modi or raise 2002 with the same agility, eagerness and enthusiasm during the Gujarat election campaign that he is doing now? Was Manmohan Singh told at that point of time that it is part of Congress strategy not to raise 2002?
The Congress...
Because he didn't say so then.
Congress party
so no, Manoj, I see your hand go. He didn't say so then. Did he say so then?
Style of politics.
The question is not Narendra Modi's role, no role or whatever role in 2002. The question is the sincerity of the Prime Minister's attack on Modi today.
Well, he has always been
you can't, Ms. Joshi,
taking more notice now. But he has
Joshi, 2002, allow me.
Just about a month back,
let's get in Sudhindra Kulkarni.
He had made a very strong statement on the same line.
Ms. Joshi, Meghnad Desai's turn. No, the question is, if the Prime Minister is sincere, he should have shown this sincerity earlier. Yes, Lord Desai. Lord Desai.
You ask a direct question.
I'm requesting that some of us want to talk. Ms. Joshi is monopolizing the conversation. Ms. Joshi is monopolizing the conversation. Ms. Joshi is monopolizing the conversation.
Go ahead, monopolize it yourself.
Many things to say about other parts of Manmohan Singh. One of the most interesting thing is that for persistent 4-year inflation, you cannot blame outside forces. Outside forces have stopped having inflation 3 years ago. There is no inflation in Europe, there is no inflation in the USA, there is no inflation in commodity prices. So I think one has to say, and inflation is hurting the Congress more than anything else. And I think one really ought to have had a better answer on inflation than we got. I'm very fond
how
of
sincere, because Sudhindra Kulkarni is out of the debate so far. We'll move to the economy and we'll move to the question of whether the Prime Minister was deflecting everything on the core issues. But Sudhindra Kulkarni, do you think the Prime Minister was completely 100% sincere in raising 2002 today? Or was the Prime Minister using his attack on Modi to deflect attention away from his negative record of UPA 2?
Arnab, it is not fair either to the Prime Minister or to the subject of the debate to make it Narendra Modi centric. In fact, if you watch the Prime Minister's press conference,
the Prime Minister made it Narendra Modi
a very
centric.
small part of the entire press conference.
No, he did not.
No, why didn't you let me speak?
Mr. Kulkarni,
रीटा जी, आप कृपया दूसरों को बोलने दीजिए, नहीं तो आप ही बोल दीजिए.
Did not refer to any individual.
Miss Joshi, let him complete. Miss Joshi, let him complete. Let Sudhindra, he's come in late into the debate. Let him make his point. Yes.
This press conference, Arnab, this panel discussion should be conducted in a more more fair manner, allowing others also to speak.
Go ahead, Mr. Kulkarni.
This press conference was about the Prime Minister's nearly 10 years of tenure. And you said, Arnab, you said that the Prime Minister's performance is disastrous. I don't agree. It's not disappointing certainly, but not disastrous. To think that the last 10 years have been only gloom and doom for India is to berate India. It's not just berating a Prime Minister or a particular government. India has made a lot of progress in many areas in the last 10 years. At the same time, the government has also been a failure in addressing several issues. So we need to take an objective, all-sided, comprehensive view of the Prime Minister's performance, the government performance in the last 10 years. Most certainly, the government has failed to contain inflation, price rise, which is hurting the Congress party. The Prime Minister ought to have taken strong and timely action when charges of corruption came up. He failed. Yeah?
So?
Ask me.
Mr. Kulkarni,
Mr. Kulkarni,
you are building
I
a
am
very
saying that the
strong
Prime
case for
Minister
the
ought
Prime
to have
Minister.
taken strong, timely
No, you are
action
trying to build
when
a very
chance of
strong
corruption
case
came.
for the Prime Minister.
At the same time, I want to say one thing, Arnab. Please, this is the only time that I've come into the discussion. Please let me speak. On the whole, the Prime Minister came across as sincere as a person in his position can be, as self-critical as he can be, but some of the achievements of this government have been the achievements of India. So let's not berate
Mitra.
India. Just as there were failures and successes of the NDA government.
Can I just take I want to take very strong objection, Sudhindra Kulkarni, to your saying that a criticism of a Prime Minister's record, which I repeat again, ask anybody, Mr. Kulkarni, how has the Prime Minister's record been in UPA 2? And anybody will tell you it has been disastrous. Now, if you want to be very kind to the Prime Minister on his day of his farewell
I won't say it's disastrous.
It's your right to show that.
I won't say it is disastrous or not.
But I believe that more than artificial grace. But I believe that more than artificial grace, what one needs tonight is honesty.
No, Arnab,
What I'm saying is that more than the kind of artificial grace which you seek, one needs honesty.
And you should be
Chandan Mitra is coming in to rebut you. One at a time, Chandan Mitra is taking on Sudhindra Kulkarni.
First and foremost, no, I don't want to take on my friend Sudhindra, but I just wish to clarify that Mr. Sudhindra Kulkarni, in the public perception, is closely associated with the BJP. He was a national executive member and is also very close to Mr. Advani. And therefore, I need to clarify this, that his views are not those of the BJP. We believe that the Prime Minister has been a complete failure.
I am not in the BJP anymore,
disaster.
so you don't need to clarify this, Chandan.
Arnab has said it in the beginning.
No, wait, let me complete. Yeah, that's okay, but there's a public perception.
He's distancing himself from you, Mr. Kulkarni. That's what he's doing.
No, so I want to clarify for your viewers, because many of them don't know that Mr. Sudhindra Kulkarni is not in the BJP anymore. Therefore, I needed to clarify this. Number two, I'm astounded that Ms. Joshi has come on to this debate without having read the Prime Minister's script. Now, he has named Narendra Modi. Ms. Joshi, please read that he has named Narendra Modi. He's talked about Ahmedabad. He's not talking about the governor of Gujarat, is he? He's obviously talking about Narendra Modi and then names Narendra Modi and says it will be a disaster for the country. Now, who is he? Who is Manmohan Singh? He has created greater this thing,
He was simply unpacking the charade of his own leader.
No, but on what basis does it say this will be a disaster? Manmohan Singh has been the biggest disaster. Manmohan Singh has been the biggest disaster, and he cannot comment on others. After Gujarat, after the great success. 1 minute, just let me speak.
One second.
You are speaking all the time. This is unacceptable.
Manoj, don't come in. Manoj, I'll come to you.
Joshi, you cannot.
Manoj, I'll come to you.
I will not allow you to be heard. If you behave
Joshi, let him complete his point. He heard you patiently. To be fair to him, he heard you patiently. Chandan Mitra heard you patiently. So let him. Yeah.
No, I'm saying that the Prime Minister said Narendra Modi would be a disaster for the country. I'm saying Mr. Manmohan Singh has already set such a high benchmark of being a disaster. I don't think anybody can surpass that. On every point, and as Hartosh was saying, on every point, the Prime Minister only saying, I'm sorry I couldn't do this, I'm sorry I couldn't do that. Then what were you doing all this time? I mean, why does somebody become Prime Minister if he fails to deliver? He gets 10 years in office thanks to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. And by the way, he mentions that his greatest achievement is that the differences did not crop up between the Congress president and me. In other words, he thinks that is the high point of his achievement, because after all, he signed on the dotted line every time Sonia Gandhi asked him to do that. So obviously there was no great difference. So are these achievements? And one point I wanted to make towards the end, but I don't know I'll ever get a chance.
Mitra, I think the issue is very fundamental.
Mitra,
No, I think the issue is very fundamental. Today, what is happening
I can't
is
hear you, Arnab. I can't hear you.
Rita Bahuguna Joshi, 1 minute. Rita Bahuguna Joshi, 1 minute. 1 minute. I find it amusing. I find it amusing, Miss Joshi. Miss Joshi, I find it amusing that today you and Sudhindra Kulkarni also joins you in such a strong, emotionally charged defense of the Prime Minister. You are trying to cover up for the fact that you have just dumped your Prime Minister. You have dumped your Prime Minister. You have dumped your Prime Minister, and none of your defense. You have dumped your Prime Minister after the election loss. You have dumped your Prime Minister because the Congress
held a press conference. Actually, you're not liking it that he was so candid. You didn't want
third in 10 years.
him to make
Third press conference in 10 years.
You thought
Third press conference in 10 years.
You thought he was too soft to make strong statements.
Hartosh, one second. Rita Bahuguna Joshi. After the
inflation, sorry unemployment, sorry everything, and only strong thing comes only when he talks about.
He made a factual statement.
Miss Joshi, certain facts in history.
Country wants an explanation. Why have you failed? Why have you failed? What business did you have sitting in that office for 10 years and doing nothing? And at the end of 10 years, your farewell speech, you say sorry. 10 years is a long time in a country's history. Unemployment has grown, inflation is galloping, and you say, I'm sorry, I couldn't do anything.
Hartosh,
what kind of...
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to issues of where he says, I'm sorry, I did the things right, my government did things wrong. Because like the Congress party is distancing himself from the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister is distancing himself from his own government.
He didn't say
but
that.
But Hartosh, let's get facts right. In September 2013, Manish Tiwari says the Congress party will fight the next Lok Sabha elections under the leadership of Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Is it a fact or not, Hartosh, that the Congress party has dumped the Prime Minister, especially after the election loss? However polite they may try to be tonight about it.
Well, I think this was sort of Manmohan Singh last hooray. I think he will be used as a cheerleader to criticize Modi. But his public credibility is so low that he cannot be an effective campaigner in these elections. The problem is that people cannot believe him. When Mr. Kulkarni says that his sincerity was evident, I'm amazed, because there is a point in his statement or in an answer to the question where Manmohan Singh actually says that the Spectrum, the Colgate, all have been forgiven by the people because they voted UPA 2 into power. That is sheer hypocrisy. You know?
Ridiculous.
People didn't even know about these scams when they voted in. It's a ridiculous comment. And by that same logic, Narendra Modi has been voted to power 3 times after the riots. Your sins of the past do not go away because people have voted a certain way. I think Manmohan Singh, from this point on, if this is the defense he mounts of corruption, is going to be a disaster. I think the Congress realizes that.
Yeah. Do you agree, Meghnad Desai? Do you agree that that was one of the most ridiculous comments of the press conference, where the Prime Minister said, you know, on all the scams, he said we voters gave us a mandate in 2009. I think he forgot to mention that all these scams, CWG, 2G, coal, came into public domain and were exposed by the media in 2010. Yes. He's trying to make the election of 2009 into a referendum against corruption. Manmohan Singh says corruption does not matter because I got voted back in 2009. Is that the most ridiculous comment of the press conference, or is there another one?
No, I think I hope that is the most ridiculous comment, and I'm sure Narendra Modi will use it again and again. I've been re-elected 3 times. So why, the people of Gujarat have accepted me. And so why are you blaming me? So I think we have to make quite clear that the sins of corruption, the scandals of corruption don't go away. Even when you have passed a Lokpal bill, we still don't know the answer to Colgate. We still don't know the answer to 2G. It may be that Dr. Manmohan Singh was not responsible. Yes. But he was the Prime Minister. The rest of his cabinet was responsible. So he should blame his cabinet. He should name names. He should say, these are the people who did the scam.
He should take responsibility,
and I denounce
Meghnad
them
Desai.
in public. Because
he should take responsibility.
You see, I think what's going to happen. But you see, this press conference was staged just to say that it was not Rahul Gandhi's fault that we lost this election. It was my fault. This was Manmohan Singh being pushed out to confess that it was his fault that Congress is losing elections. You see, this is the secret of it. Rahul Gandhi may have done all, but Rahul Gandhi cannot be blamed, so Manmohan Singh has to be blamed. Manmohan Singh has been hung out to dry by the Congress party. I tell you, that's what happened. And he may not last.
Meghnad Desai,
he may not last the general election.
That is
He may not last the general election.
If... No, Rita Joshi, this is the bitter truth. You see, the Prime Minister distances himself from...
Why would Manmohan Singh... Arnab,
and whatever he said is
why would Prime Minister have a press conference? Why did he need a press conference? Why did the man who has never had a press conference need a press conference? He had a press conference because he had to confess.
Come on, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, actually this is the question everyone in the country is asking. Ms. Joshi, why did the Prime Minister... I just want to ask directly one-on-one a question to Rita Bahuguna Joshi. 1 minute, ma'am.
Please let me ask you a question.
Why did he hold a press conference?
Let me ask you a question. How can you ask such a question? Why did he hold a press conference? He is the Prime Minister. We have turned the year. This is election year. He wants to interact with the
He's a Prime Minister who never speaks or never spoke.
He will again come back.
He's a Prime Minister who never answered. He's a Prime Minister who, when all the scams were going on, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, there was not one word from the Prime Minister. He's a Prime Minister. He's a Prime Minister who stood up in Parliament during the missing Colgate files and said, I am not the custodian of the files in the Coal Ministry. He's a Prime Minister who never took responsibility. So why would he have a press conference today? You forced him to have a press conference.
He has been pushed out to take the blame.
He has made statements on the floor of the House.
He has been pushed out to take the blame.
Whenever he likes.
He has taken the blame.
Leader of the Congress party. This is not right to... What kind of...
He is not a leader of the Congress party. Sorry. He is only a Prime Minister.
Why did he hold a press conference?
He is not a leader of the Congress party.
You mean to say...
to confess my faults.
Managed. Please tell me the media was managed, or you tell me, please.
Ms. Joshi, let's get some others in. Manoj and Chandan Mitra. Manoj, Chandan Mitra, Sudhindra, Kulkarni and Hartosh also in the debate. During the press conference, the Prime Minister kept saying, quote, and let's look at the number of eyes. I want to count the number of eyes. Not eyes that you see with, but eyes as you describe yourself with. Not I the word, but I the alphabet. Here's the Prime Minister's I remark. He says, I feel somewhat sad because I was the one who insisted that spectrum allocation should be transparent, fair and equitable. I was the one. I insisted that coal allocation should be done on the basis of auctions. Hence, I am good, government is bad. Manmohan Singh good, cabinet bad. His insistence, Manoj, I see your finger go up there. His insistence on being the one who was the voice of reason does not cut any ice with me. Because he has an abject history of failure on cracking the whip and reigning in his own corrupt ministers. This is the question I asked the Prime Minister when I had a chance to interact with him. That you cannot use coalition politics to compromise on corruption. Yet, so many years later, the same old remark from the Prime Minister, I am good, everyone else is bad. Will history forgive him?
No. I mean, history would judge. In fact, history is better than some of the section of media which feeds the appetite for sensationalism. His eye was prominent today because his eye has been attacked.
Clarify that point. Clarify that point. Let's not let you get away with that. What is sensational? No, what is sensational?
No, I said
CWG was sensational.
He has been attacked simply on N number. No, I didn't say that.
You make a superficial, scurrilous remark like that. And I won't let you get away with it.
I said
even Manmohan Singh says that you're parroting Manmohan Singh's line that history will judge me better than contemporary media.
Can I just...
Right? So I'm telling you, all the scams that we broke, which one of those scams was proven to be wrong by the Prime Minister?
No, it is not a question. I'm talking about the debate which is going on in the media today. That why only one section of question was taken. I've been following Chandan even before his BJP days. Why do we decontextualize answers from the questions? See the answers in the context of questions. That we are not doing, Arnab. My only submission was that we must see the question. Don't decontextualize. And Chandan has been a journalist of a great...
I think you are not understanding the broader context. Chandan Mitra I get Chandan Mitra to respond, but in the last, I'll tell you what the context is. Rita Bahuguna Joshi won't like it. The context is that there are 5 last terrible years of UPA 2. 5 ministers have had to resign because of pressure by the media. The same media you don't like. You are talking today like Rajya. You are talking today like Maran. Right? You are talking today like Veerbhadra Singh. You are talking today like Bansal. And you are talking today like Ashwini Kumar. I don't know why you are talking like...
that has not protected anybody. We are not like Mr. Modi, who is protecting both Mr. Babulal Bukharia and Solanki.
Chandan Mitra
into the party.
Chandan Mitra will respond, not me. Chandan Mitra.
We have allowed all
Chandan Mitra versus
stigmatized
I'm sorry, I won't respond to the
they have been removed, they have gone to jail,
and can you
they were made
please
to resign.
ask her
So
to
please don't
kindly
say this.
allow others
Ms. Joshi, Chandan Mitra has folded his hands and is asking you to come. Let him come in.
हाथ जोड़ से आपके निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि थोड़ा शांति से हमारी बात को भी सुनिए. Please, I have spoken in both languages. So if you, sorry. No, I have very few observations.
Continue.
I just want to point out to Mr. Manoj that, in his state, Bihar, the Chief Minister refused to arrest Yasin Bhatkal, the anti-national terrorist, for fear of antagonizing a particular community, when I'm sure nobody in his right mind in that community supports him. And then, you see now, for all this diatribe against Narendra Modi that has been launched there, and now Prime Minister and Nitish Kumar are on the same page. Now, you see, when you make these kind of distinctions and double standards of policy that are practiced, and you see his speech today, I mean, minority. As if the majority community does not vote. That he does not need votes from the others apart from minorities. These are the hypocrisies and double standards that will mark Manmohan Singh.
Yeah.
And I think that is why his final farewell speech, he's speaking about these things only, and not the economy.
No, we digressed a bit. Ms. Joshi, because he made the point, respond, but make it brief.
Dr. Manmohan Singh was there for 75 minutes.
Arnab.
He took on all the questions until the correspondents and the media was tired. He has very candidly and truthfully spoken up. On
Sudhindra Kulkarni is also responding to that. You have accused them. No, 1 second. An accusation made. This is an accusation made by Chandan Mitra and Chandan Mitra alone. And Sudhindra Kulkarni wants to take him on that. You accuse the Prime Minister of minority appeasement at the news conference? Now, I think that's a bit of an overstatement, Chandan Mitra. You are looking for an angle which probably does not exist. But in any case, Chandan Mitra, Sudhindra Kulkarni, your ex-colleague from the BJP is taking you on.
Arnab, I don't think that the Prime Minister was indulging in minority appeasement in today's press conference. No. But I want to say one very big minus of the Prime Minister's press conference was his answer to the questions about corruption scandals, and he saying that in spite of these scandals that came up in UPA 1, the people gave us a mandate. He was less than being truthful, because these scandals came up actually in UPA 2. They came to be known in UPA 2. So the Prime Minister was not entirely sincere in that particular answer. Nevertheless, I would say that this Prime Minister, in spite of his personal sincerity, has been the most uncommunicative Prime Minister that India has had. the Prime Minister is not just the head of the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister is the leader of the nation. He ought to speak to the nation. And his biggest failure, in spite of many good initiatives that he took, his government took, his biggest failure that he rarely communicated with the people of India.
No, this defiance. Now, this sense of defiance, I would say, Hartosh, the Prime Minister comes out today with a sense of defiance. And I would say, with this sense of defiance the Prime Minister comes out with will actually hurt his own party. If the Prime Minister wanted to help his own party, he could have said, my first term was good, my second term was not as good, there are lessons to be learnt, and I'm sure that the Congress party will learn from these lessons and provide a different kind of leadership. The Prime Minister did not say that. By being so defiant, Hartosh, has the Prime Minister ended up doing more damage to the Congress party than the Congress would have liked?
Yes, Arnab, the overarching tone of the press conference from the Prime Minister's side seemed to be that of smug arrogance. It is clearly, I have done nothing wrong, I have been right in everything I have been saying, and history will prove me right. As if contemporary politics, contemporary criticism, electoral failures, all of this amount to nothing. You know, this arrogance is what is costing the party and the Prime Minister dear. And the real problem is when he says...
You think the Congress party would be wincing when he was saying all that today, Hartosh?
Absolutely, it would be wincing, because clearly the implication is that the party led him down a path he didn't want to go. But then why did he go down that path? Who forced him to do that? These are obvious questions which have been asked for 3-4 years. He's never given any answers.
You see, Ms. Joshi, look here, Meghnad Desai, I'm coming to you. This is actually coming to a critical point.
Truthfully. How can you say he was arrogant? The last person in the nation who can be...
What is he saying truthfully, Ms. Joshi?
Said to be arrogant is Dr.
Ms. Joshi, Ms. Joshi.
The Prime Minister is the most humble.
Ms. Joshi, he says I won in 2009. No, when he's asked about the scams, the Prime Minister says that voters gave me a mandate in 2009. The Prime Minister of India, of the most scam-ridden government, right, the maximum number of ministers having to be sacked, a government which many people felt was, in suicidal mode on acts of corruption for most of the last 4.5 years, the Prime Minister comes and says, my electoral victory in 2009 must not be forgotten. I am asking you tonight, Ms. Joshi, does an electoral victory diminish or justify corruption?
He didn't say, look, what was the meaning?
Does it diminish or justify corruption?
We had so many achievements in the social sector, whether it was agriculture or whether it was our growth rate or whether it was the health scheme or
again you are digressing.
Other things, you see.
What's the relevance of that?
He spoke about.
What's the relevance of that?
He also spoke about the loan waiver. So his intention was that our good works were so many that people voted us back into power in 2009.
No, I am talking about the Prime Minister. I am not talking about the social sector schemes. I am talking about accountability. Chandan Mitra is responding. I am talking about accountability. I'd say today that the Prime Minister, if you hear me, Ms. Joshi, if you hear me just a minute. If you hear me just a minute, the bitter truth, I'll tell you the bitter truth.
And the Lokpal, along with the other two bills, which are pending. If they are all passed, then corruption will be taken care of very effectively.
Ms. Joshi, I'm getting in Chandan Mitra, Meghnad Desai and everyone else to respond to you. Just hear them in. I will only say one thing. 3 of the 5 ministers who had to resign were seen to be personally close to the Prime Minister. A. B. The Prime Minister's willingness, if I argue from the other side, the Prime Minister's willingness to accept Raja's word, overlook all the allegations against him in the 2G scam, effectively gave Raja a clean chit. His failure, abject and complete failure to intervene before licenses were allocated, his refusal to cancel licenses after allocation is something which till today, the January the 3rd, 2014, the Prime Minister has not explained. He should have explained that today. But what was he doing? He was deflecting. Chandan Mitra responding now. Chandan Mitra, last 10 minutes of the debate. Chandan Mitra.
They have been well debated on every channel, all these issues. And the law is taking its course. Let the law come out with its final verdict. I expect not you to sit on any verdict. as far as the Prime
Dr. Mitra rebutting
Let the
the Congress.
verdict against him. He's
But I'm not going to speak while
Dr. Mitra rebutting the Congress.
Ms. Joshi is not stopping for half a second.
Chandan Mitra ji is BJP. More than a journalist, he is now BJP leader. So obviously it's his mandate to speak against the
Prime so what?
Of course he's a BJP leader.
That is besides. Of course I'm here. I'm here to defend my party and the party line position on this.
It's absolutely
Will you please allow?
And he's
the anchor has asked me the question.
What
Chandan Mitra is rebutting. I am asking a question. Chandan Mitra is rebutting.
I can't listen.
Chandan Mitra is rebutting. I am asking a question. Last 10 minutes of this debate. Let's get everyone in. Dr. Mitra, please.
Yeah, I see what has happened today. And you see, Ms. Joshi is talking so much that I am losing my train of thought also. Now, the situation is, it is very clear that the Prime Minister... Again, you are interrupting. Now, we all know, the whole country knows that the 2G scam was cleared by the Prime Minister personally. He was in full knowledge of what was going on. On Colgate, he was the coal minister when it happened. Every scam that has happened in the country, the Prime Minister has presided over it. I am not saying he made money out of it, but his party made money, his allied party ministers made money, some are in jail and some will go to jail soon. And then the Prime Minister each time came and said, sorry, I didn't know. Things are happening right under your nose and your only explanation is that I didn't know. Therefore, the country has been waiting for the time when in a democratic way the Prime Minister and his party will be reduced to dust, which is going to happen very soon. The Prime Minister took advantage of his position to make a political speech with saying nothing and apologizing for all his failures. We welcome the apologies, but people won't apologize so easily. They will not.
Last 5 minutes of this debate.
1 minute.
No, last 5 minutes of this debate. Last 5 minutes of this debate, and my question here is to get Meghnad, Desai and Sudhindra also Kulkarni into the debate.
30 seconds.
The question is this.
Please don't interrupt. Arnab, 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Please. You see, I am saying that the Prime Minister today
Mr. Goswami, you interrupt us when we speak. Now only 5 minutes are left.
The Prime Minister.
No, Ms. Joshi, I'm going to let you respond as well. Yeah.
Have some television manners, for heaven's sake. Now, what the Prime Minister has done today is to legitimize another institution called the IIC. There's one IIC all of us knows about. But today, the Prime Minister has become a symbol and I would say epitomizes another IIC, the IIC of inflation, inefficiency and corruption. I am sure most people will agree with this.
Well, I have in last 4 minutes of the debate, I want to raise a fundamental, very serious issue. See, many people said, the Prime Minister is a good man. Sudhindra Kulkarni, everyone said this. Prime Minister at the end of the day, see, there's a smile on Meghnad Desai's face as well. He's been personally very close to the Prime Minister. I'm sure some level he has a soft corner for the Prime Minister. If Meghnad Desai is being critical, I think that itself is a litmus test. But in any case, everyone says Prime Minister is a good man. So everything may have happened wrong. There may have been a lot of corruption. People close to him there may have been scams. But Prime Minister is a good man. I too would like to give the Prime Minister that benefit of doubt. But Sudhindra Kulkarni, the Prime Minister has a number of times in the past tried to draw a line between a mala fide decision making leading to an act of corruption and errors of judgment. Now, I know this word error of judgment is an oft used word. Now, I frankly think it should never be used. It should be thrown into the bin. But in any case, what he hasn't been able to justify or defend, Sudhindra Kulkarni and Meghnad Desai, is his own willingness to overlook corruption in his own cabinet. Can he today attribute it to an error of judgment? First Sudhindra Kulkarni, then Meghnad Desai. Mr. Kulkarni first.
If you see the record of how his government and he himself have dealt with the issue of corruption, it is most disappointing. The Prime Minister of India has enormous power. He is the most powerful person in the country. he should have put his foot down, and a good man, a sincere man, a person of utmost integrity ought to have been empowered by his party, and the failure to do so is going to cost this party very highly in the coming elections. Having said this, if we take a total view of his office in last 10 years, I would say that one big achievement, we should not belittle this achievement, is the fact that India has political stability for 10 years in a coalition era. Even Atal Bihari Vajpayee did not complete 5 full years in his last term.
No.
Here is the Prime Minister.
Again, you are trying to.
He completes
if I
10
were to
years.
say this, if I were to use an example,
This is certainly an achievement.
Mr. Kulkarni.
Yeah.
Mr. Kulkarni, I having
Yes.
known you for a few years, one of the compliments I would pay you openly on national television is that even with your strongest adversary, you sometimes find a glimmer of hope and something right about that person. And you try to, it's like pulling water out of a rock, Mr. Kulkarni. Sometimes you pull water out of a rock, and that's what you're trying to do today in trying to extract something good out of the Prime Minister's term. But I challenge you, Mr. Kulkarni, accept the facts. We have 3 Prime Ministers
I want to tell you,
today.
Arnab.
We have 3 Manmohan Singhs we are dealing with.
Why are you?
Arnab, was that a backhanded compliment?
Are you deliberately downgrading the Prime Minister and the Congress Party and its government?
I'm not downgrading the Prime Minister. I am analyzing the Prime Minister's record.
Economic slowdown. And no, you are trying to run him down. No, this is not done. Because the Prime Minister has done a lot of good work. The party has done, and the UPA government has done a number of good works. Yes, if there are certain skirmishes of corrupt practices, they're all under the purview of law.
No, Hartosh.
But to downgrade a Prime Minister deliberately...
No, Miss Joshi, why am I asking this question? Because I am dealing with 3 Manmohan Singhs. I am dealing with 3 Manmohan Singhs. There is one Manmohan Singh. You see, the evolution of Manmohan Singh as a Prime Minister. Miss Joshi, please. Miss Joshi, I concede defeat. I cannot compete with you in amplitude. Miss Joshi, there are 3 Manmohan
Singhs. She has much to hide. She has to speak.
There are, if you hear me, Hartosh wants to come in. Hartosh and Meghnad Desai, there are 3 Prime Manmohan Singhs. There is one Manmohan Singh who in March 2011 says, when the CVC Rao is going on. Just understand. And by the way, let me tell you this, Miss Joshi, even Rajiv Gandhi's term was deconstructed. You remember a magazine cover story which showed the changing face of Rajiv Gandhi over the years? It analyzed him and criticized him. I do not think in an independent India, with an independent media, that you should say I'm degrading the Prime Minister or say that I'm berating my own country. As an independent journalist, I have every right to, not just with this Prime Minister. We'll do it with any future Prime Minister and with any past Prime Minister. Hartosh, would you please back me up on that at least? Because I find this whole tone that the Prime Minister should never be questioned as he's going away. No, I object to that, Ms. Joshi. I object to that. I object to that as a journalist.
Override any criticism.
I object to that.
Hartosh, everybody without listening to
Hartosh, to please tell
some very good work.
Ms. Joshi, if you would let others speak, maybe you would get to listen what people are saying actually in this country.
Your assessment, your analysis is totally lopsided. At least give him the credit of doing some good work.
This is the problem with the Congress, Arnab. They are deaf.
No, he's done good work.
So this is strange. Prime Minister himself is saying I have done no good, and Ms. Joshi says give him credit for the good.
Arnab.
Prime Minister has run down everything of his own government.
And I can't hear Mr. Mitra, so I won't be able to comment.
No, you don't want to hear.
Arnab, there's all the difference in the world between being a good man and a good Prime Minister. Manmohan Singh was a pretty bad Prime Minister. I mean, we have to face that fact. And today, if he makes that statement, which I entirely agree with, that Narendra Modi will be disastrous, the point is that much of the responsibility will be Manmohan Singh's for foisting this disaster on us. Manmohan Singh and the Congress have paved the way for Narendra Modi to get where he has.
Very well said. Dr.
Now, one second.
Has done the best
gentlemen, one minute.
And please appreciate the constraints in which the government was
Ms. Joshi, I want to sincerely tell you something that I believe, Ms. Joshi, Ms. Joshi, I think whether he has a full term, a half term, 2 terms or 3 terms or no term, Indian politics is stable because of the Indian people, not because of our prime ministers. You know, that's a small point I needed to make to you. Now there are, there are three, concluding 2 minutes, there are 3 Manmohan Singhs I am dealing with today on the issue of corruption. Manmohan Singh, first Manmohan Singh is March 2011, CVC Rao says, I have no hesitation in saying there was an error of judgment, I accept responsibility for it. That's Manmohan Singh number 1. Manmohan Singh number 2, he says, I may have made mistakes. Who is above making mistakes? To err is human, but to accuse me of evil intentions, of conniving in corruption is a charge I repudiate. They are throwing the debate on corruption. Manmohan Singh 3 is the Manmohan Singh who stands up in parliament and totally starts distancing himself from everything that's going wrong. I am not the custodian of the files in the ministry, he says, during the missing files debate. Now Manmohan Singh 4, today the Manmohan Singh which I saw was a Manmohan Singh who says, I did all the right things, I wanted to do all the right things, and maybe if something went wrong, which is what he's saying, somebody else is responsible for it. These are 4 stages of Manmohan Singh. And I think the one thread which I find Meghnad Desai is that the man, is that Manmohan Singh's sense of denial is growing.
Context is not what you're trying
over
to
the years.
project.
No, nothing is out of context. The first,
you're picking out statements.
1 minute to go, Meghnad Desai closing the debate.
Out of context, your statements are being quoted.
No, all the contexts are right, Rita Bahuguna Joshi. The first context was during the CVC Rao. The second context was during the debate on corruption in the Lok Sabha. The third context was during the Colgate missing files. And the fourth context was today's press conference.
What was said after that? You can't choose and pick up statements.
Ms. Joshi,
you have to read the entire statement.
Ms. Joshi, I am touched. You are defending the Prime Minister you just dumped. Meghnad Desai.
Why will I not? Because if there is a misquote, I have to stand up for him.
One thing has to be said. The Congress party used Manmohan Singh
Dr. Meghnad,
as a shield
Meghnad Desai is closing the debate.
Corruption. The Congress party has used Manmohan Singh as a shield to carry on their corrupt practices. Now that they have lost the elections and they can't blame Rahul Gandhi, they are dumped him. And he had to give a press conference just to say, it's all my fault, and that is why I have to say sorry. The Congress party did not stand by him. A good man was ruined by his party. And I feel sorry for him, but his UPA 1 was good. In UPA 2, his party used him very, very badly. I feel sorry for him.
Well, good man or not, he will be remembered as a Prime Minister. As a Prime Minister. And the question is, has Manmohan Singh himself paved the way for Narendra Modi? Has Manmohan Singh with his tenure himself paved the way for Narendra Modi, a person who he criticized today in his own press conference? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on that Newshour Debate.